Well, a new report from Community Development Halton has revealed a rise in poverty rates following the pandemic, with Milton experiencing the highest increase in the region. I spoke with the Executive Director of Community Development Halton, Rishia Burke, to learn more about the study's results.
I think what's really important to remember is that we've gone through some really difficult times in terms of inflation, but we have poverty rates that have been spiking post pandemic, and that's what our report is about. When we look back to 2020, when there were pieces in place like CERB, those income benefits that came during the pandemic, our poverty rate in Halton dropped quite significantly. When those things were removed, then poverty began to rise again. It's interesting that we see it in Milton. We also see it in Oakville, the other communities as well, but those two municipalities have the largest spike, with Milton at 15.1% and Oakville at 14.8%. And this is looking at 2022 tax filer data. That's our most recent data that we can look at. Milton is a growing community, as you know. And it has a high percentage of newcomer folks. And our newcomers, when they first come to our community, make 20% less on average than the rest of us. They're very resilient and they make their way over usually about a 10-year period. But those are difficult times. There's multi-generational families, partly for cultural reasons, living together in many cases, but also to have more than one earner in the house. We've also, through some of our other reporting at CDH, have seen a rise in single parent families in Milton, which is interesting, and single moms in particular really struggle financially.
So, as we speak about this, though, I think it's important to define poverty according to the report. Where does it fall?
Sure. So there's a bit of math involved with this, but a threshold for poverty, I was looking at my papers here, for one person would be at $25,418. So anything below that is considered poverty. You can imagine living in Halton with the cost of living and the cost of housing, the cost of food, with 25 and change. That number goes up with the number of people who live in the household. So, for example, 35,000, almost 36,000 for a two-person household, 44 for a three-person household, for example.
So what can we take out of the report? Are there recommendations to follow for help to reduce the poverty rate that is right around us here?
Absolutely. My recommendations, or our recommendations, are fairly based in policy, things that we know make a difference. So, income rates. Ontario Works, which is the province's social assistance rates, they have not changed since 2018. So they don't represent the cost of living. An individual receiving Ontario Works at this stage in time receives $733 a month to live on. So if someone's life has things have happened, and they found themselves in that situation, and there can be a variety of reasons for that, making your way back with $733 a month in your pocket, you can imagine, is very difficult. Ontario Disability Support Program also, it has seen some increases in the last little while, and those are for folks living with a disability in our community. Again, provincial income policy, but it still keeps those folks in poverty, that rate. Seniors with guaranteed income supplement also are just creeping above the poverty level, but really hanging in tight. Minimum wage has not kept up with inflation. And so, we're advocates of a living wage, and there's others around us who are really looking at a guaranteed income. There's all sorts of policy solutions around income. Things like the child tax benefit have kept many children out of poverty. So these guaranteed policy pieces that help families along are really important. We need to be advocating for increases around those income policies. That is huge. The housing crisis that we're experiencing, and that could get worse given what's happening in the world. Income is at the heart of that our incomes aren't keeping up with the cost of living, including housing costs and food costs. So we really need to be advocating about income policy as we head into election time. Is a really good time to be talking about this, as people are knocking on your door and would like your support. So this is a really important point of conversation.